I just turned the mic on. Hey y'all. I've been talking this whole time. Talking this whole time. And I was on mute. Let you know, it sets the tone. Sets the tone, y'all. Sets the tone for exactly what this episode is going to be touching on. And I want to title it, Let's Talk About How I've Been Fighting for My Life. But that seems a little dramatic. Slightly dramatic. I do like drama, so it's on par for that. But I don't know. I want to be transparent on here. So I want to start off by expressing my gratitude for you even clicking on the episode. That's what I was doing when the mic was on mute. I was expressing my gratitude for you, anybody who's clicking on this episode, even if you don't stay the whole time. The fact that you even wanted to come reconnect with me in this space, it means the world to me. It's been a road. It's literally been a year, almost to the day, since I've posted anything on the podcast. I've had so much I want to talk about on the podcast, but being in law school, it's been a journey. It's been a journey. And it's been a humbling experience. It's been a very humbling experience, and all I can do is my best, and let God do the rest. But seriously, I wanted to get up here, express my gratitude, express my thanks before I jump into any of the where have you been? What's going on? Where are we going? Are you quitting the podcast? Are we not doing this anymore? Like, have you given up? The short answer is no. But to get into all the background of it, I will be giving answers to questions that I'm sure you guys have. If this intro seems very chaotic, again, this is the perfect intro to this episode because I feel like that's been the theme all 2024. Not gonna hold you. Starting in 2023, honestly. Right after you last heard from me, November 2023, yeah. Stuff started hitting the fan, baby. But I ain't getting into all my personal business now. But I'm definitely going to give you some context into why we're here, my plan. But again, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I got to have this virtual background. I have to have this virtual background up because y'all need to see my business again. But I'm trying to stop using excuses of like, even my makeup, my hair, my this, my nails. Find the reasons not to get up here and do what God has laid on my heart, because God didn't lay it on my heart so that my nails and my hair done, everything big can be together. That wasn't what when he gave me the vision for this podcast. I was not on the. He did not say nails and hair done everything. He did not when he gave me the vision. So I need to stop letting these superficial, surface level things keeping me from walking in my purpose. And I hope that this episode is encouraging to anyone who is experiencing setbacks or experiencing roadblocks on a passion that, you may care about, but it's like life is life right now. So hopefully this episode is encouraging to anyone to keep the good fight going, because as long as you have breath in your body and you're able to do what God has placed you on this earth to do, like every day you wake up is an opportunity to continue to strive towards the mark, because that's all you can do. So I'm gonna get into, again, what's going on, what I want to do, what to expect, and yeah. Okay, so I just want to preface by saying today is November 1st, 2024. We have an election, general election, federal election going on right now. Election day is the 5th. Is if you're watching this in real time, we know what's going on. But if anyone's watching this retrospectively, this is a very critical election year. And I just wanted to take a moment before I get into talking about me, to encourage anyone and everyone to exercise your right and privilege to vote. Okay? People love to pull the, oh, well, I just feel like my vote doesn't matter. And that's understandable considering that oftentimes education surrounding these things is very convoluted, misdirected, or heavily biased. So I don't fault people for having a very disenfranchised attitude towards voting, but what I cannot and will not encourage or enable on my platform or in my life or whatever is this idea that democracy is purposeless, has no purpose here. And exercising your power in that democracy serves no purpose. I can't stand by that statement. I can't stand by that thought. To each his own. But me, especially, everyone knows I'm in law school. Me learning the things that I'm learning, and understanding. I've had the privilege of working with one of my professors this year. She's a voting rights attorney, civil rights attorney, specializing in voting rights. And just having the opportunity to learn as much as I've learned historically, present day, the tactics and the aims and agendas that are being perpetuated. There's nothing new under the sun. I'm sure anybody who's heard that before knows exactly what I mean. That statement, it's a popular cultural saying. But it's just saying that the same stuff that they've been doing 400, 500, 600 years ago, they're doing it now. And to think that they're not, look, stuff they're doing 50, 60 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, people try to make it seem like, oh, this stuff is so historic. Like this doesn't have impact, or isn't relevant to what's happening today. And it is extremely relevant. And they want you to believe that racism and classism and elitism and all the isms, sexism, the isms no longer are impacting the society, or if they are, they're not doing it in a such a detrimental capacity to where people are truly oppressed. And this notion that like oppression has subsided or is like slowly we're alleviating it. We've had things that have like, and to say that it hasn't been alleviated to some degree is inaccurate. So I'm not saying that there haven't been strides towards social advancement, I'll say, but as a society, but knowing that capitalism, white supremacy, and sexism, the patriarchy, are embedded in every institution and every law and every element of this country was founded on those principles. Knowing that, seeing it, understanding it, reading it in law, especially now, like anyone who doesn't know, I my degree was in sociology. I'm now transitioning to obtaining my JD. So having that social science background, I'm so sorry if you hear the windiness. I'm so sorry if you hear the windiness, but it's distracting me. But yeah, so having that background, I really am grateful for, because it gives me so much perspective that the science, the studies, the phenomena, the norms, this stuff is staring us right in our face. And I think that we've just become so accustomed to the way things are that we don't realize, like, oh, this is derivative of this. Like, oh, black people are the lowest. Black people marrying other black people, let me be clear, and I got this from one of my classmates. She's doing a research paper on this. I wanted to say that because I don't want to make it seem like I just be knowing everything, but she's doing and I was very intrigued by her topic, but she's doing a research paper about marriage in the Black community. And one of the stats she mentioned was that Black people as a group were have the lowest marriage rate to um internal marriage, like Black people marrying other Black people, lowest rate of marriage. And we can sit there and be like, well, why is that? Maybe Black people just don't value marriage. No. No, because if you look historically, that's not the case. Culturally, baby, as soon as they got the right to marry, that's what people rushed to do. People were getting married even when it wasn't legally recognized, even when they didn't have the benefits and the protections of the United States government. 14th Amendment, equal protection. Yeah, we didn't have that. They didn't have all the benefits of being married socially. Now, I'm not talking about the family. I'm just talking about politically. So, you know what I mean? All those things. Financially, wealth building, you know what I mean? It's derivative of slavery. That's what I say. It's the derivative, and it doesn't even have to go all the way back to slavery. It's derivative of these social welfare programs that literally try to replace the man in the household by only making women eligible for benefits to help themselves and their children if a man isn't present. You know what I mean? So, all that to say that I'm getting on a tangent, but I'm a wrap it up. But I just had to say, like, you don't have a right, as my professor has told me several times. You don't have a right to vote. Voting is a privilege of a democratic society. You have a right to not be discriminated against in your vote, but there was never in the Constitution, there was never established a right to vote. So that just lets you know, like, this stuff is not set in stone. It's not set in stone that you get to have a say and how you get to have a say. The only right you have is to not be discriminated against. You don't have a right to vote. And that's so important, distinguishing the two, because I think that it just shows you how valuable that privilege truly is. As anyone who understands what the word privilege means, it means that it's not granted to everyone. Like, everybody doesn't have that. You know, it's unique, it's tailored. So, to the powers that be. So, just don't get caught up in the voter suppression and intimidation tactics of trying to keep people of color and young people and elderly people and non-English speaking citizens, and the list goes on, by making you feel like your privilege is less valuable than somebody else's privilege. No. No, baby. No, baby. No, baby. They weren't burning crosses on people's yards and killing people. I know I'm getting morbid, but I'm just saying, like, people weren't willing to sacrifice their lives, their safety for this privilege. Anyway, go vote. I said what I said. Go vote for if not for just for you to represent for the generations coming behind, to show them that it matters. Having your voice being active and influential in your society is important. So go vote, even if it's a task. Go vote. Go vote. Don't care. Go vote. And I should have got up here earlier, and I take responsibility for not getting up here earlier to say something. And I'll get into that when I talk about how we got here and the reason why I'm having this episode. But I just had to, just because the election is so close, and I couldn't bear to not take my due diligence as a aspiring attorney and legal professional, to not stress the importance of why your voice matters, regardless of what the society tries to make you feel, because it's intentional. They're trying to make you feel that way. Everybody doesn't feel like their voice doesn't matter. And remember that when you start to feel like, well, what is the point? Remember that everybody don't feel that way. Everybody's not feeling that way. There are powers and agendas that are specifically to target certain groups to make them feel like you don't need to do that. Like, no, go vote. Okay, so now into well, Jasmine, after you just berated us about voting, where have you been? Have you voted? I did vote. But where have you been? What have you been doing? Where you going? Like, girl, you abandoned us and now you trying to yell at us talking about some go vote. Girl, boo. What you want? Understandable. Understandable. Completely. 100%. Um, I take full accountability that I've been very much neglecting this podcast, and it's been a battle, even for me, contrary to what some may believe. But this law school game is not easy, and I don't think anybody thinks it's easy, but I don't think people truly respect how challenging it truly is. People know it's hard, but it's here, when you don't know, like, well, why is it hard? You can kind of just have a bit of um a emotional distance to the experiences of people, and that's with anything. I mean, I think as human, I don't fault people for not fully understanding why what I'm experiencing is so challenging. All I can do is ask people to give me grace because I'm human. I'm not perfect. All I can do is my best and let God do the rest. That has been my theme since I started law school, and I will keep, it's going to be a theme for the rest of my life. That is one big lesson. I mean, when I tell you all you can do is your best, baby cakes, that's all you can do. That's all you can do. And let God do the rest. And I'm a firm believer in that. But I just wanted to give context to like why it was so challenging. Like, I was experiencing a lot of life altering experiences all at once. And like, I'm not the most stoic person. So it's challenging trying to, I don't want to say perform for a podcast, because this doesn't feel performative necessarily, but to a degree. Like, I know for a fact y'all don't want to see me get up here. I don't even want to see me getting up here being a Eeyore, if from Winnie the Pooh. Like, oh, whoa, it's me. Like, nobody's coming on here. That's not even what I created this for, quite frankly. Didn't come up here for this to be my therapist, for y'all to be my therapist. I came up here for this to be a space for enlightening conversations that broaden people's perspective in their minds and their understanding of the world around them. And so it felt like I would be disingenuous to myself and to this platform if I were to have like tried to come up here and appear like I was like, I'm fine, when I'm like not. And I'm not good at faking the funk anyway. So it would have been very obvious. It was so bad that like my creativity was dulled in a way, like, or it was tainted. That's the best way I could describe it. It was tainted in a sense of like I was in so much pain, and I was feeling so isolated and alone and frustrated that I didn't know how to talk about stuff without wrapping my emotions up in it. And again, that's not what I created this for necessarily. It's not to say that I don't want my personality and my experiences, my perspective to be embedded in this podcast, but that's not what I didn't create it for me to just get up here and be like, so this is what I'm at. You know what I mean? Or this is why I can't think about nothing else but this, or this is why this that has nothing to do with how I'm feeling, I'm gonna make it have something to do with how I'm feeling. Like I just didn't, I don't know. And then like I had to get right with God. I'm not gonna lie. Like I had to realign my spirit. I had to realign my spirit because I was just I was experiencing loss, growth, um, you know, very humbling experiences, anxiety, depression, like things that are spiritual warfare, like that require spiritual warfare. And it really made me realize like I need to get my heart right and my mind right. And I'm still working on that. I'm not saying that I'm just completely healed and I mean I am delivered now. Don't play. I'm covered by the blood now. But that I am. But I just I didn't feel like I felt so jaded in my perspective that I didn't want to taint the podcast with what I was experiencing. I was kind of trying to shield the podcast, especially because this is the internet we're talking about. This is not stuff that's like, oh, you know, Bookie butt. This can't come back and bite you in the Watusi later on. This is giving the internet will pull this back up when I want to grow beyond what the temporary feelings I was feeling throughout the year since 2023, literally. Um, I didn't want it to be like, oh, cringe. Like somebody should have told me to delete this, or like I didn't want to have that experience, so I just knew like I wanted to wait until I could come back refreshed, different mindset, not same vision, but different approach to my vision. And so, yeah, hence you get to see my face now. And even though I'm not dolled up the way that I would like to be, I have so much other stuff to do today. I wasn't able to get to the beautification of it all. But regardless, being authentic to who I am right now and not trying to hide that from, or I don't want to say hide, but allow my level of self-consciousness, perfectionism, whatever you want to call it, to hinder my purpose. That was something that I realized over this time period of like, I was going through a lot, but like my purpose is still there. And just because I'm not walking in it doesn't mean that it's not still there. And I always knew I was going to come back, but I started to feel so guilty. And then it became like anxiety producing to get back on the podcast. Cause it was like, oh my God, like I have to kind of explain why I've been gone. Cause I know if I was someone listening to me, I would want to know like, girl, what you got going on? I mean, to some degree, like you left us hanging. What's going on? People were literally coming up to me in my life, telling me like, "Girl, when what's going on? Like, did you quit? Like, are you quitting? Like, what's happening?" And I was just like, "Sorry guys, sorry guys, I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for my life." But I assure people it's not gone. I'm doing what I can. I got priorities, and as much as this passion and this purpose is a priority of mine, money is on the line, baby. With my degree, you feel me? Like there is literal stake, as they say. There is a literal stake that I put into myself into pursuing this career path. And not that I haven't put a stake into this as well, but it's a different type of stake. And prioritization wise, I had to align my actions with where my priorities were, even if I was feeling drawn to the podcast, or even if I was like, oh my God, I'm anxious. I don't know how to say what I want to say. I don't know how to get together what I want to communicate. And realizing, like, be you. People appreciate authenticity. So I knew that I wasn't ready to come back until, like, I was in a position to be authentic and to be honest, and it not be overbearing for me where I am and what my priorities are right now. Again, this is November. The semester started in August. I had been trying to record stuff in May after school ended, but 1L was quite traumatizing, if I must say so myself. So I wasn't really mentally prepared to to talk about anything. And then I experienced a lot over the summer, and then it was, it just felt like back to back to back. Every time I would try to, like, make headway with the podcast, it just was something. I remember one time I tried to record over the summer, and I got like the first 10 minutes of the episode that I recorded. The last 30 minutes or 20 minutes of whatever, however long, mic went out. Couldn't hear me. Just talking. No evidence of what was said. Why, you know what I mean? Like, and I didn't notice until I went back to edit it. Sick. I mean, just stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, learning how to adapt, and even stuff like that was discouraging, because it's like, okay, I finally amped myself up to get back on here and record and do something. Then this happened. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It was so many different factors, whether it be logistics with the podcast that were just not coming together how I planned, and it causing a level of, like, you know, or a level of loss or strain or stress or whatever that was external, whether it was from school, my personal life, whatever. Money. Okay? Because I am a full-time student. Okay? I'm going to just leave that there. The girls that get it, and the girls that don't. I am a full-time student without consistent income. I have not had consistent income since prior to coming to law school. So, an adjustment, to say the least. So, yeah, just so many things. So many things. So, again, like I mentioned in the intro, I appreciate anybody who, if you're still here listening, I appreciate you. I do. I appreciate you so much for riding with me and valuing this space that I've created, because I value it too, and I don't want my actions or my inaction to communicate that this is no longer valuable to me, because it is so valuable to me. Like, the longer I'm in law school, honestly, the more it makes me realize how valuable this space is to me. And I can get into that, but I'm just so grateful. I'm just so grateful for already kind of establishing this before getting to law school, because I can't imagine trying to start this podcast like, it's noisy. I apologize. But I can't imagine trying to start this podcast while I was already in law school. Like, ciao. So I'm just grateful that my community who is here and who appreciates the platform, I appreciate you more than you know. I appreciate your feedback. Please communicate with me. That's one of the goals I have, and I'm gonna transition. That's one of the goals I have for the podcast moving forward, is creating community. Like, I really want to be able to create community with this space, because again, I feel like the beauty of a platform, let's talk about it, is to, again, like I mentioned, have enlightening, broadening conversations that allow us to expand ourselves and expand our understanding of ourselves in the world we live in. And so I think in order to do that, you got to have community. Like, you have to have various perspectives. You have to have comparison, analysis, and evaluating, introspective, retrospective, like all the things, history, current events, politics, health, social stuff, like pop culture, even. Because Diddy, I mean, let's talk about it. We can. The platform, let's talk about it. I'm just saying. I don't know what direction it can be talked about, or people might be interested, a take that they haven't heard on that whole situation, because I have a lot of different opinions on that. But I mean, some people might be tired of hearing about it. But I'm just saying, like, using things that are happening in, I mean, the election. Anyway. Anywho. But yeah, so I just wanted to I want to communicate that I want to create community, because it requires me to show up consistently for y'all, clearly. But it also, I ask that you communicate back. Let me know what you want to hear. If I sparked your mind in any way, tell me what you gained from it. I want this to be interactive with people who engage with my content, because without y'all, what would this, you know what I mean? I'm just talking to myself, first of all. And second of all, I appreciate the I appreciate civil discourse. I appreciate having people who don't agree with me give me perspective, or come to this space with a attitude of openness and willingness to hear different sides, even if you don't agree with it. Walking away, having the agree to disagree moment, I value that so much, because it garners respect from me, but I also feel like it allows people to respect this space, which is because I don't want it to be a me. This is what I think. Like, that was not. No. This is supposed to be a space where I grow, you grow, and anybody who we bring to experience this space with us grows. So yeah, I just had to put that caveat out there. I also want to have some co-hosts come help me out. Because like I said, I'm only but so human. You know what I mean? I can only do but so much. And instead of neglecting it completely, like, I'm trying to employ my capacity to delegate, delegate task, and ask for help, and lean on my support system and brilliant minds that whose voices and whose minds I value, and again, bringing them to this platform so they can talk about the things that they value, and have challenged the way that I see the world. So yeah, I just wanted to give that caveat. You're gonna see some familiar faces, maybe some new faces. I'm remaining prayerful that I'll be able to get, like, some of my professors on here one day, or something like that, or coordinate that type of interaction. So I'm just trying to expand not only the topics with which I talk about, but also expand the caliber of conversations that are going to be brought here. I want everything from girl chat to me interviewing a prominent political figure. Like, you know what I mean? I want this to be a space that produces and curates and creates enlightening, broadening, expanding conversation. So that is culturally sensitive, and um and accurate, historically accurate. Historically accurate. Credible and life changing. So that's the goal. That's some of the goals moving forward. I'm hoping to do some more, again, with the building community, do some more interactive things like giveaways and all types of things. I'm trying to get creative. I'm hoping to get some merch down the line. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm trying to get some products that help me, that anybody who wants to go on this journey of evolving with me can purchase and things like that. And I just have a lot of expansion of not only my brand but this platform's brand as well. So I'm excited. I'm excited for like all the things that I know I want to do with this space. um I'm again grateful for God to even put the vision on my heart, and I'm grateful for everyone to respond to it so positively. And I'm looking forward to where it goes. Like, I have a vision of like what God put on my heart, but it's like one thing I've learned throughout this whole year of me not being on this podcast is that what we're not in control of nothing. So we can have these visions and we can have these ideas and, oh my God, this would be so great. But when the word says he will go above and beyond what you can ever hope or imagine, like, yeah. Yeah. And I want this to be a process. I want this to be a faith space as well. I want to, even, that's what I would say. Another transition I want to acknowledge that I would like to make is, I think I tried to keep this like as non-religious as possible, because like I didn't want people to feel excluded, or like this was like a preaching podcast, or I'm trying to like preach to people, even though you can preach to people and not be a preacher, but you get what I mean. Like, I didn't want to, I was just trying to figure out how to tailor my brand to not necessarily try and make this a purely religious podcast, because like I said, I want this to be as broad as I can make it. But because I am a faith-led woman, and like I've mentioned, I really did have to get my spirit realigned and with my source, the source, I can't not include my faith into this space. And I hope that that doesn't exclude people or make people feel excluded or attacked or anything like that. I want this to be as inclusive of a space as it can be, but I can't minimize such an important part of who I am in this space any longer. So I will be bringing a much more spiritual and faith-based approach with a lot of the conversations and the things that I want to talk about. Not everything, of course. I don't want to say not everything, because I mean God is in everything. But if we talking about credit, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm about to be like, and this is what the Bible said. I mean, I could, if that's what people want. Again, please give me feedback. I can make it. I can, like I said, God is in everything. Now, I can make him. I can make it that, but that's not necessarily what I'm trying to aim towards. It's just I wanted to make the public service announcement. If you hear me talking about God this, God that, my faith, my Lord, my Jesus himself, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised, because me and him go together real bad. So yeah, I just had to put that caveat out there, because um I think it's important that people know where my heart is and where my mind is moving forward. So I've been talking for quite some time. I hope this was insightful. I hope it was encouraging to those who may be experiencing some setbacks or some challenges in their life that make them feel like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm just here. I understand. I understand. And it's human. Tap in to your source. Align yourself, your mind, your body, your spirit, your actions with where you're trying to go, and do your best. And again, let God do the rest. So that's my parting words. again, please feel free to let me know what you think about the podcast. And or just communicate with me in general. Even if you need to be like, girl, I was really sad that you left us out like that, but I'm glad you back. I'm open to it. I'll make sure to include social media handles and all that stuff so that you know how to reach out to me. And yeah, I'm so happy to be back. Honestly, like, I'm just grateful. I low key want to cry, but I'm not. I'm just grateful. So thank you so much again for coming and spending time with me today. I hope this was encouraging and you can continue to come back and we can continue to share space and walk away feeling lighter and more expanded and evolved than how we came in. So, till next time, your host Jasmine Lynn signing off. So, how do you know I'm trying to record in the city? Anyway, as I always say, what do I always say? I say something like I haven't seen, girl, I haven't done this so long. Be real, be you, be something. I know it's to be you at the end. Be safe, be something and be you. But whatever, girl. Adios, y'all.